One of the most valuable links that my cycling club website has is from like a national organisation that links to community cycle clubs. And that is one of the most valuable links because Google knows that that website is a very reliable, authoritative source. So that's what you want. You want to have quality backlinks. If you are a digital marketeer for an organisation, something that you can do is write a guest blog post on another website, linking back to your own. You can get people to write testimonials about your business on their website, linking back to your website. You can produce shareable content, such as videos and infographics, that's valuable, that people want to put on their articles, on their websites, on their social media, and link back to your website. So if you create good content that people can share, that includes a link back to your website, then that's great. Social networks, particularly things like LinkedIn, they're very authoritative. If you've written a blog post on your website, for example, and it's really good, you might get people to share that on LinkedIn, again, linking back to your website. So yeah, quality is very, very important. Basically, the more authoritative a website links to your website, the higher yours is going to be ranked. Just with an example of that, so if you've got like a TripAdvisor post that says the 10 best vegan restaurants in Hanoi, you want your restaurant to be on that list. You want your website to be on that list. That's where you want a quality backlink. So with off-page factors, SEO all ties into everything you're already doing to market your business. It's not always a completely separate model. So things that we're going to talk about content marketing either tomorrow or Thursday, I can't remember where it is on the list. But we'll go into that in lots more detail. But things like that is stuff you're doing to get your name out there, to raise awareness of your brand, but it also really, really helps with content marketing. PR is something that all businesses should be doing to raise the profile of their company. And the better PR you get, the more people who are talking about your company, the better your off-page SEO. Another thing you can do, which we haven't really talked about, which we don't really cover that much in this, is influencer marketing. So if you pay an influencer to post something on social media about your company, or they might post it on their website, then they're providing links back. And the more followers an influencer has, the more influence that they have, the more expensive that is for you as a business. Events, it's very good to hold events. It really get people spreading the word about your business. So for example, I went to a talk about web usability and accessibility at a business in my hometown a couple of weeks ago, and what they get out of that is the business that hosted it gets loads and loads of mentions on LinkedIn and on social media. The people who did the talks at it get loads and loads of mentions back to their websites. The people who provided the pizza get loads and loads of mentions back to their website. And what you have is a lot of people, is that earned media. They're talking about all those different businesses that are involved. So events are a really, really good way to get, to build your brand and get people talking about it, which all helps your off-page SEO. Podcasts is an interesting, really growing thing. Do you listen to podcasts? Stick your hands up if you listen to podcasts. I've got a couple, just a couple. I'm going to show you that every time 3 people put their hands up in here, it's the equivalent of actually about 15 people. You know, I'm putting up. So yeah, podcasts, massive growing industry. And being a guest on a podcast, a popular podcast, gives you opportunities to talk about your brand, and they'll probably put a link to your website in the description of the podcast, which, if it's a very popular one, is going to be very effective for you. We've talked about reviews, so yes, reviews, that sort of link back to business websites, also very good. Content syndication, I'm not really going to talk very much about that, but it's basically you might produce a piece of content and then pay a service to syndicate it to lots of other kind of websites. That's PR really, but that's just another way to build your brand. So we've looked at this before, but again, it's just about thinking about where each bit of work, each part of the digital marketing journey fits into the consumer journey, and just having an understanding of when they're hitting each point to make sure it makes sense. And the website on this is kind of, it's a purchase. So these are all kind of opportunities to get people to think about your website before they actually get there to make a purchase. And then to link back to your website afterwards, after they've made the purchase. So understanding the consumer journey is really important to understanding every aspect of direct marketing. So the things that they might need at the different stages, when they are becoming aware of your business, the sorts of things they might read or watch are blog posts, videos. They might go and look at your homepage. So they're not at the actual stage of deciding what to buy at this point, so they're just becoming aware of your brand. Then they're in the consideration phase. At that point, they want to see those buyer's guide. They want to see, for example, that video on how to put together a table or the dimensions of a table. They might also want to read case studies about people who've used your services, and they want to understand more about you, so that would be an about page on your website. When they're actually making the decision, I mentioned the video putting together the product, but that would actually be in the decision-making time. So this is where you've got the product demos. I use them all the time. I will watch videos to try and see someone using the product, because that's the best way to understand if it's going to fit your needs. So Google really likes that, because customers like it. So product demos. You might have comparison tools. So if you've got a few different levels of a service, then having those sort of tick boxes that show what each level of the service provides, so people know they're getting the right thing. And if they need to know more, they'll get in touch on the contact page. So I mentioned earlier having an about page and contact page is really important for all businesses on all websites, and they are key factors in the consumer's journey. So this is just showing a website that has these particular different areas of these stages. So you don't really need to, you can sort of do this audit on any website where you would buy a product. AO.com is one I'll be using soon because I'm buying a house. So I'm going to be buying things like washing machine and fridge. This is the sort of company, this is the company that sells them. So the way to get people aware of the brand, to get their pages appearing on Google, is writing blog posts about key product services and topics of interest. So they might appear on Google when people are searching for those keywords. So if someone's writing a keyword about, if someone's searching for installing washing machine, for example, they want their blog post about how you can do that, or about how they provide that for free with their purchases. They want those to appear in those search results. They use a friendly and relaxed tone in all their content to make it nice to read. They use lots of images, which is really important when you're trying to become aware of any product. And they get customer pictures. So they get customer testimonials effectively here. They use Instagram posts where people have posted pictures of their kitchens that they've used their own products on. So they've reached out to them and they're tagging with people. So they're using user-generated content as well. So that's their home page. That's where if people are just becoming aware of the brand, these are the sorts of things they're going to see. Still, yes, I mentioned the blog posts in the wrong order. They also have a blog that's really going to help with getting people to the website with those keywords and to make people trust the brand, to make them think that they care about you, and making sure they make the right decisions. Then, to get people to move from awareness to consideration, they want people to keep, people might land on a blog post, but they want them to keep going, so having that ease of navigation so they'll keep looking around the website, making sure the site structure makes sense, having that really valuable content like images, video, and reviews. When people are considering things, here we go, because there's the reviews and just highlighting key features. Here's the comparison to make sure that people know that they're making the right decision. Before you spend this much money on something, you want to know that you're getting exactly what you need from the thing. So really, you can't provide too much information. The more information you can give that's going to support a purchase, the better it's going to be for your users, but also for your SEO. It's better to provide facts about your product or service than it is to just say, we're the best. You can have other people saying that you're the best, but if you say it, that's not really going to help. What you really need to be doing is providing really useful content for them rather than just trying to sell. When people are actually wanting to make their decision, you need to make it really clear how it works. So one of the things that people want to know is things like how long it's going to take for something to arrive. So provide all of that information on your website. Okay. We're going to finish a little early, which is great because I am losing my voice. I need to recover by tomorrow. Okay, so this is just summing up the main benefits of SEO. Ultimately, the main benefit of SEO is getting people to your website and making purchases. So it is increasing your targeted traffic. SEO will improve those search engine rankings to get you to the top of the listings. By having really good SEO, by doing all those on-page and off-page factors, you can reduce the amount you're spending on paid advertising, while only providing benefits. If you spend money on paid advertising, it's only getting seen by the people who you're paying for it to see, whereas all of this work that you do to make your website better, to get your brand built up and people aware of it, is going to be seen by anyone, whether you pay for them to see it or not. So those branding benefits, they all work together, they all combine to build your website up. SEO is so much better now that Google just wants you to basically be a good business and sell your business well online than when it was literally stuff a web page full of keywords and get lots of backlinks. Okay, so hopefully you feel you have a brief understanding of search engine marketing. We're going to be doing more on that tomorrow morning. An understanding of how search engine optimization fits into that. An insight into those on-page factors affecting SEO, and an insight into off-page factors affecting SEO. And an understanding of how this relates to the customer journey and user experience. We have UX here, so can you explain more about UI? UI, now forgive me if I get this, I might get this slightly wrong, so hopefully I don't, but UI is user interface, and you might have a user interface designer who literally designs the shape of buttons on a website. What a user interface designer will do is, to UX, they are doing the research into what the user wants and how the user wants to navigate your website, what they find useful, and making those recommendations. But a user interface designer then goes into the specifics of looking at every point where the user interacts with your website and making those bits better. So things like, we call it the hamburger menu on mobiles, where you've got the 3 lines that click to open a menu. A lot of a lot of research has gone into whether users understand what that is. A lot of time they didn't before, but anyway, those sorts of things are designed by user interface designers. I do actually have a friend who had that job as a user interface designer for the government, and they would create templates for each area. Like they would have templates for what a button should look like for a call to action. They'd have templates for how a menu should be spaced and things like that. So you might, as far as I know, and forgive me if I've got that slightly wrong, I've not worked in that field, but yes, slightly different. No, so the HubSpot report is not really, is their business research into on-page SEO success, based on the work that they do with companies and their research into businesses. It's not an academic model. So there's a difference with the references, there's a difference between, we use a mixture of academic references and just business insights, like industry insights. So HubSpot would be considered more of an industry insight. So it's just one way. You might find something completely different. So I wouldn't think of it as a kind of academic model. Image tags. Yes, that's a good question. So